It's Saturday morning. It's time to talk technology, and that means that our tech expert, Luis Alvarez, CEO of the Alvarez Technology Group, joining us right now on Power Talk Radio. Luis, good morning and welcome to the program.
Thank you, Mark. How are you?
Doing pretty good. Lots going on this weekend. Beautiful weather around the Monterey Bay Area. Is the boat in your future?
So no, this weekend, Ronnie and I are going to be spending time down in Paso Robles celebrating our 30th wedding anniversary.
Oh, congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. So we decided to do a little getaway. Now, we planned this before we knew it was going to be like 100 degrees down there. So we will tolerate the weather, but we have some fun dinners and wine tasting planned. And it'll be, not that I don't mind them, but it'll be kind of nice to get out of town while the super bikes are all here making a lot of noise near my house at Laguna Seca. So I won't miss that at all.
Hey, I have to tell you, I saw the post the other day on Facebook, that wedding picture of you and Ronnie from 30 years ago.
Oh.
And she looks great. She looks the same today, but what happened to you?
Yeah, that's a good question, my friend. That is a good question. 30 years happened. That's what happened.
Oh, boy. But a great 30 years, right?
Absolutely.
Well, listen.
Looking forward to the next 30.
All right. Well, give her a congratulations for me.
I will. Thanks.
So we've got lots to cover in the tech world today. First thing I'd like to do is do an update with you on the Patelco situation. Last week we talked about this crippling hack that happened to Patelco, which is a huge credit union in Northern California, has almost 500,000 customers. The name Patelco is an abbreviation for Pacific Telephone Company because originally Patelco was a credit union just for Pac Bell workers back in the old days of the baby bells. But anyway, they got hit with an incredible ransomware locking up of their system by hackers recently. From what I understand, I'm looking at a story on kqed.com that they still haven't resolved this. Most members are not able to withdraw more than $500 a day. And the other upshot of this, and you and I have talked about these hacks that have happened, these ransomware, and we talk about how these companies get hit for these huge amounts of money. Insurance companies oftentimes will pay off after an investigation. But what we forgot about is, what about the customers? What about the individuals whose private information has been compromised? Well, now, Luis, the upshot from that is 2 different law firms have filed class action lawsuits against the credit union, alleging that they failed to take reasonable steps to protect their clients' private information, which has caused the customers time and monetary damages as a result of the attack. This is going to be another huge problem for them, and I'm wondering if this is something that will be covered by their insurance policy.
So, good question. And if you have cyber insurance or liability insurance, some of those damages may be covered. And in fact, chances are that the insurance companies will take over the lawsuit, even if it's a class action, and basically try to negotiate with the law firms once those lawsuits are consolidated, which is inevitable, to come up with some sort of settlement. But the fact of the matter is that if there's any penalties or fines that are levied by the state or the feds, those are not covered by insurance. So they'll cover lawsuits, but there's going to be an investigation into how this hack happened, because quite frankly, whenever I read about these things, being in the business of protecting clients, we know that there are ways to protect our networks and also ways to limit the damage that can be done with ransomware. And the fact that in this case that was so devastating tells me that somebody wasn't doing their job, quite frankly. So I think they're going to find some negligence involved here, and they'll probably be paying out a lot of money because of it.
Right. I think it's the kind of thing where you would look at it and say, there is no way this should have happened at this degree.
Exactly. We've been doing this for a long time, and I can tell you personally that in the years that we've been protecting our clients, we've only had one client that got a ransomware attack, and it was limited to 2 devices because our systems shut everything else down. And so it was just an inconvenience as opposed to something that takes somebody out for as long as these guys are out. And they're going to be out for, their systems are going to be crippled for probably another 6 months before they finally get through this whole process. And people just don't understand how devastating these attacks can be on their business. And it's going to cost them a lot of money, not just in potential lawsuits, but just in lost opportunity and reputational damage. I think those 500,000 customers may be looking for new banking opportunities really soon.
And they're not covered by the FDIC. If it's not a federal credit union, if it doesn't have federal in the name, they are not covered by the FDIC, because I know that credit unions that are listed, like let's say it's Joe Smith's Federal Credit Union, you then have the protection of the FDIC. The accounts are insured up to $250,000. If you don't have federal in the name, you don't have deposit insurance. And that means that the people, unless the company has some sort of private insurance that will cover the depositors' deposits up to a certain amount, they're kind of SOL.
There are credit unions that get together and have their own kind of cooperative to help each other in case of some sort of damages, but it's not as robust or as guaranteed, if you will, as the FDIC protection that is offered to banks and federal credit unions.
Okay, so that's story number one. Now, the next thing that we want to move on to here, speaking of scams of people getting ripped off, AT&T says that a hacker stole data on nearly all of its wireless customers. So let me get this straight. This is only affecting wireless customers. So if you happen to be an AT&T internet service customer, or if you happen to still have a landline telephone in your home, this wouldn't affect you?
No. So this is strictly for those people that have AT&T as their wireless carrier.
Okay.
And apparently last year, and going even into 2002, according to the filing that they made with the Securities and Exchange Commission, some bad actor had gotten into their system and downloaded logs and potentially even actual text messages from nearly every customer that is an AT&T wireless customer.
Oh, good grief.
So we're talking about billions and billions of text messages, call records, who called who. Obviously, not any sort of not voicemails or things like that, but just the metadata that indicates who called you and who you called. So potentially, these bad guys are going to analyze this data and start trying to extract money from the people that may not want others to know who they were calling or who they were texting and what they were sending in those texts.
Okay, so this is another big cyber security breach, and AT&T has 90 million wireless subscribers.
It's crazy that, again, we talk about how can this happen, especially a company like AT&T that should have the most robust cyber security systems in place, but it happens. And it just shows that even if you take all the steps that you need to take, there's still a potential for becoming a victim, but you still got to take those steps. You still got to protect yourself as much as possible. Otherwise, you're guaranteed to be a victim.
Okay, up next on the program here, we've got a couple other things to talk about. And from The Guardian today, real criminals, fake victims, how chatbots are now being deployed in the global fight against phone scammers. Man, these guys never quit.
They don't. And this is a story out of Australia that's really interesting because we talk a lot about how AI technology can be used by the bad guys to create even more realistic phishing emails or make calls synthesizing people's voice. But this is a story about a company that has developed essentially AI chatbots where scammers are redirected. So, known scammer phone numbers are redirected to these chatbots who then just kind of engage the scammer for up to an hour because it just responds like it would to a normal conversation. And they've deployed hundreds of these chatbots as in a way to not only keep those scammers from actually talking to real people and doing damage, but also to learn and analyze how these scammers work and who they are and come up with even better ways to protect the public from it. So although this is being done in Australia, I suspect that other countries, including the United States, will soon be employing this kind of technology at the private level. These are going to be the phone companies that do it as a way to protect their customers from scammers and learning how these scammers operate.
So scamming the scammers, if you like.
Exactly. It's turnabout's fair play.
All right, that's Luis Alvarez, CEO of the Alvarez Technology Group, joining us today on the program as we talk technology here on Power Talk Radio. Online, you'll find them at alvareztg.com. The X handle is at AlvarezTG, and Luis, the toll-free number for the I-Team.
Give us a call at 866-78-I-Team. That's 866-784-8326.
Looking ahead to Monday, Amazon Prime Days are coming up. Talk about it.
Yeah, we're going to be talking about Amazon Prime Day, but more about how you can protect yourself from the scammers that are going to try to take advantage of those 2 days where we let our guard down.
All right, so be sure to join us starting Monday morning at 8:30 a.m. here on Power Talk Radio. Luis, thanks so much.
You're welcome, my friend. Enjoy the rest of the weekend.
You too, and once again, happy anniversary to you and Ronnie.
Thank you so much.